right, so we are going to move on to our actual error prevention techniques. We have some safety commitments related to those. So we're going to use the mnemonic safety. And our commitments are to support the team, and we're going to learn about team member checking and team member coaching using 5-to-1 feedback. Assertion and escalation, speaking up for safety using ART and stop the line. Focused attention to detail using a STAR technique, which is stop, think, act, and review. Exercising a questioning attitude, validating and verifying. Transfer critical information using 5 P's of effective handoffs and SBAR. And then, yes, that's correct, 3-way repeat backs, readbacks, phonetic and numeric clarifications, and clarifying questions. So our first safety commitment is to support the team with team checking and team coaching using 5-to-1 feedback. And what should we do? We want to help others to do the right thing and expect that they will help us to do the right thing. And we do this so that our coworkers will perform at their individual best and to ensure that as a team that we're working at our best as our team. We're talking here about kind of your wingman. You know, in aviation, in the fighter pilot world, you have your main fighter pilot and they always have a wingman. And that wingman's job is to point out anything that's coming at the fighter pilot who's focused straight ahead, sweeping the tail, those types of things, making sure that they point out any potential threats that they might not see because they're focused on something else. So we want to be each other's wingman. I'm going to show a video here about an awkward situation where somebody stepped in to be this poor young woman's wingman.
And now to honor America and salute the men and women serving our country with our national anthem, please welcome, as voted by you, the fans, our winner of the Toyota Get the Feeling of a Star promotion, Natalie Gilbert.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the stars like stars? Stars like last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, and the singing air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So the coach of one of the teams got up and helped. He was her wingman. He wasn't going to let her just stay there by herself and flounder too much longer. And I suspect that the Browns people with the Kansas City Chiefs would have liked a wingman before they went out and made them the chefs. So the point is that we should take advantage of working with each other because we do a much better job when we have somebody checking what we're doing. Our individual reliability is pretty limited. We make a defect every 1,000 opportunities, but when we have somebody else checking us at the same time with the same task, we only make a defect 1 in a million. So we want to check the accuracy of each other's work, identify slips and lapses, point out unusual situations or hazards, and have impromptu consultation. Now we're going to move, and be willing to check each other and be willing to have each other check us. And it's hard to sometimes invite that, but it's important that we do that and have that back and forth amongst ourselves. We're going to move to team coaching, which is a little bit different, but it's still within the same. We're talking about what we're doing with our peers, and we're talking about giving feedback. In this situation, we're not talking about a superior doing an annual review with a subordinate. This is your peers who you work with all the time. And it's important, you know, the word feedback oftentimes has a little bit of a negative connotation, but what we're talking about here is giving information to encourage the right behaviors so that they keep happening, and then also giving some information to bring to the attention of somebody something that you don't want to have repeated. We need to be willing to give feedback. We need to be willing to invite feedback from others. We want to base our feedback on observations, not intentions or inferences. And we want to use the lightest touch possible, particularly when it's for more of a criticism. And it's important to remember that if you see something that shouldn't be happening or that's unsafe, and you don't say something to the person, you're actually promoting it because you're not pointing it out. So you permit what you promote. You permit what you permit, you promote, sorry. And it's important too when somebody does give you some maybe critical information or criticism, that if you say something like, thanks for saying something, you invite that back and forth to continue rather than getting defensive, and then that shuts down further communication, either for the positive or for the negative.
This 5-to-1 ratio is proven and was scientifically proven, and what they looked at was successful marriages had a 5-to-1 positive feedback, and unsuccessful marriages had a much lower or a reverse feedback.
1 to 5.
Right. So you look nice. You're doing an excellent job.
Well, thank you. What criticism is coming?
Make sure that I got that in.
Yeah. So, but the other thing to remember too, when we're talking about 5-to-1 feedback, it's not like you have something critical that you need to say, so you've got to come up with 5 positives when you're talking to that one person and do this rapid fire, positive so you can say your one negative. What it's really talking about is the culture of pointing out the positive things that people are doing much more often, and that will allow somebody to hear you when you actually say something that might be more of a criticism. So we're going to look at 2 videos. The first one is maybe not exactly how you should do your feedback. It may not be the lightest touch. And then the second one is probably a little bit more of how we should do it.
When we asked Reebok to send us Terry Tate, some people thought we were crazy. But I'm a firm believer in paradigm breaking, outside the box thinking.
Hey, buddy.
Break was over 15 minutes ago, Mitch!
And since Terry's been with us, our productivity has gone up 46%. We're getting more from our employees than ever before.
You know you need a cover sheet on your TPS reports, Richard. That ain't new, baby.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Janice.
But what's really impressed me is how Terry's become part of the Felcher family.
Get high, baby.
He fits right in here.
That's a long distance call, Doug.
To be honest, I wish Reebok sent us 10 Terry Tates.
You want to play games, Gene? Well, when it's game time, it's pain time, baby. Woo!
So a couple of examples here of support the team. An infectious disease physician provides information to a hospitalist about the correct antibiotic dosage. A financial analyst points out a spreadsheet error to another analyst. A nurse double checks an insulin dose for another nurse.